Welcome back to Make Finance Easy. Today's video is going to be on index funds via stock picking. What actually wins? If I gave you two choices, option A, pick your own stocks and try to beat the market, or option B, invest in the entire market and do nothing, which one makes the most money? Most people think it's stock picking, but the data tells a very different story. Today, we're going to be breaking down index funds via stock picking based on real long term results, not hype. We'll cover which one actually performs better, the risks involved, and what strategy makes the most sense for you. Let's get into it. Stock picking is exactly what it sounds like. You choose individual companies like Apple, Tesla, or Amazon and invest in them, hoping they go up. The goal? Beat the market. If the market returns 8%, you want 15%, 20%, or more. And yes, it can work. Some investors have made millions doing this. But there's a catch. An index fund is the opposite approach. Instead of picking winners, you buy everything. For example, an S&P 500 index fund. Invest in the 500 largest companies in the US. So instead of betting on one company, you're betting on the entire economy. It's simple, low cost, and requires almost no effort. Now, here's the part that surprises most people. Over the long term, most stock pickers lose to index funds. Not just beginners, even the professionals. Studies consistently show that the majority of actively managed funds fail to beat the market over 10 to 15 years. But why does this happen? Because it's extremely hard to predict winners consistently. Markets are highly competitive and fees eat into returns. Meanwhile, index funds just quietly match the market, and sometimes that's just enough to win. Now, let's talk about risk comparison. With stock picking, you could pick a big winner, or you could pick a company that crashes. Your results depend on a few decisions. With index funds, your risk is spread across hundreds of companies, so one failure in one of the top 500 won't destroy your portfolio. So while stock picking has a much higher potential upside, it also has a much higher risk. Then there's also the time factor. Stock picking requires intensive research, constant monitoring, and emotional discipline. While in index funds, you can literally invest automatically, ignore the market, and still grow your wealth over time. It's the definition of passive investing. So, what should you do? And here's the honest answer. If you want the highest probability of long term success, go with index funds. If you enjoy investing and want to try stock picking, you can do both. A simple strategy that most investors use is put 80 to 90% into index funds and then use the remaining 10 to 20% to pick stocks. That way, you stay safe, but you still have a possible upside. So at the end of the day, stock picking is exciting. Index funds are boring, but boring investing is what builds real wealth. So the question is, what can win? It's what can you stick with for the next 10 years to grow and accumulate your money. And that's it for today's video on Make Finance Easy. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you guys later.